Okay, so final, I mean, not final, but like pretty much determined is Donald Trump, first place in New Hampshire, followed by John Kasich at 16%, and then Ted Cruz, and then Marco Rubio. And then on the other side, obviously, Bernie was first and Clinton was second. So among the victory speeches and or concession speeches tonight, Hillary Clinton was first.
Mm-hmm.
She came out and said basically commended the Bernie Sanders campaign, and then gave a pretty standard stump speech. Said they didn't expect to win in New Hampshire, but that they were really grateful for everyone's support that they got, and that they would work hard to make up lost ground with voters that they didn't get, particularly young people, and then hit on the basic Clinton.
Yeah, it was a good speech.
It was.
She was able to gen up, some energy, and it was believable. And
Mm-hmm.
she did her best, and she's. I was what we talked about before in the last segment was she going to where's she going to go from here message wise? Is it going to be just negative, and is she going to just go after Sanders and attack him, which would be a death spiral?
Yeah.
Or is she going to, finally try to say, hey, okay, you like this guy, I'm even better? She's got to make them like and be inspired by her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was the tone, at least, of this speech. Now, whether that happens or she turns around tomorrow and just starts trashing him and being real divisive and nasty, we'll see. Is it sound a little hypocritical since there's some divisiveness maybe coming from the Sanders campaign? Well, he's got the momentum right now.
Yeah.
And she's the one on the defensive.
Right. She did have a good line in her speech about how Citizens United, which is the Supreme Court case that allowed for basically unlimited campaign contributions in politics, that case was originally inspired by an ad and money poured in against her. And that's true. And she said, so given that Citizens United comes from an attack on me, you're not going to find anyone more against it and for campaign finance reform than I am.
Yeah, I don't know what she was saving that for. That should have come out in like the first debate.
Yeah.
When, Bernie was talking about how much he hates Citizens United.
Yep.
She should have said,
no,
nobody hates it more than me. It was caused because of me, people going after me.
Yeah.
Maybe, or maybe when we fact check that, it's specious, but I do think that's correct.
True. That's true. Yeah. Remember that was like a movie almost, like a quite extensive video about her that was not true. And,
right, and it was going to be aired, and then ABC pulled the plug, and then it was aired on Fox.
She had like a gag order
on
it. Yeah, there was a whole thing, and it ended up going before the Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court said, yeah, it's free speech.
Yeah, money is speech.
Money is speech.
So that sucked. But her speech was good. I don't know.
Yeah, it was good. And then anything else to add about her speech before we move on?
Not really.
And then she talked a lot about Flint.
Yep.
She went there 2 days ago, and
this weekend. Yeah.
She's obviously trying to hold her her firewall of African American voters, but I have a theory about that it's tenuous. I think the African American voters support her because they know her, not necessarily because they heart her like they heart Obama.
Yeah.
Or that they could heart Bernie.
Right.
If they got to know him.
Yep.
And they're going to start getting to know him very well. He's going to be on the ground in South Carolina starting, I guess not the next 2 days because he's going to be in New York, but starting, because the South Carolina primary is, on the 23rd? You have the little map.
So I have a little list here of the next coming debates.
Yeah. They're
not debates, I'm sorry, primaries and caucuses.
Mm-hmm.
So the next two are South Carolina and Nevada, but they split them up kind of interestingly. So one party goes first in South Carolina, and the other goes first in Nevada. And I'm just trying to pull it up here really quick. So why don't you talk about the next?
So next was Bernie. Bernie came out for his victory speech. It was a raucous crowd.
Yes.
He was fired up. He made himself hoarse a few times and coughed a little bit. And he went on and on and on.
Full stump speech.
And on. Longer than Marco Rubio's in Iowa. I mean, yeah, it was the full-on stump speech.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. I mean, that was his chance to introduce. I think it was smart because I think there were a lot of people tuning in, like just tuned in tonight. What's going on? Okay, the Sanders guy won big, and he's coming on. Let's hear what he has to say. Mm-hmm. And so some new people got a chance to hear his whole stump speech. So it's smart for us who've seen his stump speech 50 times. It was like, okay, Bernie, wrap it up. But
Exactly.
then thinking about it now, it's like, okay, I understand why he did that. It's
Yeah.
the same reason why Rubio did that in Iowa.
Yep. Yep.
So,
So February 20th is the Democratic caucus in Nevada. On that same day is the Republican primary in South Carolina.
mm,
So basically,
10 days.
the Republicans will know who they're going against in Nevada, uh, and the Democrats will know who they're up against in South Carolina, sort of how the winds are shifting between the parties. Then the 23rd, the Republicans will caucus in Nevada.
It's a quick turnaround.
And the 27th, the Democrats will primary in South Carolina. So
Now,
those are the next
this becomes interesting strategic wise, because the last I looked, the polls are starting to get pretty tight in Nevada. Hillary, I think, still has a lead there, but he's got a huge deficit in South Carolina. So
Yeah.
does he just kind of forego South Carolina and spend more time in Nevada and try to really get the momentum going? I don't think he can ignore South Carolina, though, because he's got to make inroads in all those other southern states where she's leading.
Exactly.
Like North Carolina and Georgia
and I think
Alabama.
if he quits and then she wins the next primary, then it's like she won, he won, she won, and then it's a couple days till the next one. And I don't know. I think it's not smart. I think he should do his very best to at least try to
he won, she won is a win for him. She's got to slam the door shut in the South. Yes. So, and Nevada becomes very, very huge. Again, I don't remember the last polling I looked at. Hillary was on top, but not by much. And with the momentum coming out here, it wouldn't surprise me to see some polls coming out that show even up or maybe him leading. But I haven't looked at Nevada polling in a while. Nevada's kind of a weird place. Not too many young people.
Right.
There's a lot of people of color, an increasing number of people of color, a lot of Hispanics. Hillary's been doing really well with them.
Yes.
But again, it's not because those people dislike Bernie. They just don't know him.
Right. It's also really big. Unions are really big in Nevada.
Unions are really big.
Casinos, so that's a really big for the Democrats.
That's been
especially.
Weird. Hillary has gotten some union support, and Bernie's gotten some union support.
Yes.
I think the unions out there are supporting Hillary. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Well, and that may change, but I don't know.
That could change. Yeah. It usually doesn't, but
I feel like Trump. Dana and I were discussing this earlier. I feel like Trump will do well in Nevada. He's well known. He's got a bunch of hotels out there. The big business
union people
kind
hate
of.
Him, though.
That's true, but the big business people out there, I think, although he's self-financing, so I guess it matters a little less. But I think he'll do okay. Yeah. So Rubio finishing 5th. Right?
That's what it looks like. So 65% are in, and the numbers really aren't shifting much. He's trailing Bush by, I think, somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 votes, and he's not making up ground. He seems to be losing ground. So a 5th place finish for him is a disaster, because there were a lot of polls showing him second.
Yes.
Second or third.
That's what he was hoping for. So that's still like, there's Trump and then there's me. There's Trump and then there's me.
Yeah.
And it's, there's
and then,
4 people above me.
And then, the idea was, great. He has that strong third that surprised everybody behind Cruz. Then he comes in second here. Then maybe the establishment can really coalesce around him. Well, now that plan is effed. It's out the window.
Yes.
Now Kasich is going to try to claim that mantle, but I don't think it goes any further than here. Kasich basically gave a victory speech tonight and basically said he won the presidency. I just watched it.
Yeah.
Although it was, again, this let's be positive, let's not be divisive and gross like Trump, but still, step all over women's rights. And he kept on saying, government's the last resort, government isn't the solution, but elect me as head of the government. Yeah. Which I love that Republican argument. That old Ronald Reagan line. Government is not the solution, it's the problem, so have me lead this horrible, useless institution, please.
Yep.
Okay.
Rubio came out and said, look, I did really shitty in the debates.
And it's all my bad.
And it's my bad, and, it won't happen again, and I promise to not be Robo-Rubio, and...
You don't say that. And, I'm not running Rubio's campaign. I could give a crap, obviously, but you don't, in my estimation, you don't come out and say, I effed up. You just play it off and be like, we're going to go get him next time. You don't be like...
I don't know. I think
because now you're
smart.
How
because it tamps down debate expectations for next time, and it also makes him seem like, look, because he was so bad, it was so bad, and then he did so much worse here that I think he has to address it, and he has to say, okay, had a bad night, I understand, I'm not really that guy,
Okay, but if you're a Rubio supporter, is that what you want to hear?
Yeah, I don't want to hear. No, that's how I debate. That's what I do. That's
no, you don't. But you don't even acknowledge it. You just say we're going to come back stronger.
But then how do you say I got fifth place instead of second?
You get to that on the Sunday talk shows, or when he talks to Fox and Friends tomorrow or whatever.
I think it comes
I don't
across
think
as
you go
more
to your
like
campaign rally and say,
I don't know.
I effed up my bad guys. I mean, that's basically admitting that you suck.
that I sucked that night, but I won't anymore, and I recognize that it was bad, and I'm going to do better. I think it. I mean, I think it could.
Maybe you might be right.
I don't think it was a bad move personally. I think that.
Well, does
strange.
that mean he's suddenly going to learn to debate or handle, being ambushed by a friendly gay bear at a diner?
Right? I mean, no, he won't, but he's now tamped down expectations that he knows how to do any of that. He said...
Tamping down expectations when you just finished fifth means what?
That
maybe I'll finish fifth again next time? I mean, here's the thing. That's a hell of a pivot, right? Because his third place finish in Iowa... He grabbed the microphone as soon as those results were in and said, I'm the front runner.
Yes.
And the media bought it.
Yes.
They said, he's the front runner.
And even you were saying earlier, everyone else was covering all the other acceptance speeches and sort of concession speeches by the top two or three, and Fox News was covering Marco Rubio.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they were cutting away between Kasich and Rubio.
Yeah.
Or they interrupted Kasich to go to Rubio.
Yeah. And Rubio was fifth and Kasich was second.
Yeah, and again, what happens now with the Fox-Trump wars? Do they give in and say he's the leader, maybe, and do they start to coalesce behind him? And no, they're still going to fight him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then Trump.
With who? Who's going to be their standard bearer now?
Whoever wins the next couple. I don't know.
You think they'll actually wait?
Yeah.
That's not Fox News' style. Like,
yeah, but
they never like to pretend they're not in control or waiting to see anything.
They're not going to go Trump. They're not.
Okay.
They hate him. They hate him, and they know he can't win a general. He can't win a general. So if they want to hand it to us...
I think they'd be deluded enough to think he could win a general. I think they just worried that he would do so much damage down ballot it would be horrible. Whereas if it was a Rubio...
There's no way Fox News thinks that Donald Trump's going to win a general election.
Fox News refused to concede that Romney lost when their own...
Romney could win.
When their own
There's
numbers...
no way Fox News thinks Donald Trump is going to win a general election. They just don't. They might say whatever they want to say, but these people are professionals. There's no way.
And they just can't stomach like another term without a president in the White House. I mean, it's
Yes.
great for their ratings when it's a boogeyman like an Obama or
But for
Clinton
those
or
of
Sanders
them with
to hate on.
sincerely held beliefs about the country and their party,
Like Roger Ailes, maybe, kind of.
it's got to be really hard, especially when you got a black dude and then either a socialist or a woman. I mean, literally, please don't be Trump or they're going to lose again, and they know it. So
Well, they're gonna lose again.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I
I
hope.
hope.
I said Santorum hit the century mark. Ladies
100
and gentlemen,
people wasted their vote
Rick
on
Santorum, even though he dropped out of the race, and he's more known as a disgusting, frothy. What was it?
the frothy mix of lube and fecal matter that is sometimes the byproduct of anal sex, as coined by Dan Savage.
Right.
What? Dan Savage?
Even though
Shout out.
even though he's better known for that, and he dropped out of the race, 100 people braved the snow of New Hampshire to go and pull that
Waste
lever for Rick
their vote
Santorum
on
in the
Rick
great
Santorum.
state of New Hampshire. So
Who knows? I mean, if you're a Santorum voter, I don't know how to talk to you. So, Trump's speech, whole lot of nothing. Just great
well, he got on a roll at the
and-
end, but the first 10 minutes he was obviously just off the cuff.
Yeah,
So it was
thanking people and talking about his wife,
grabbing
and his
some old dude
kids
off
and-
the whether
Yeah,
it's a veteran.
Al, the
and
veteran. He's
Al,
like,
the veteran.
Al, we love you, Al. If you can get up here, do. And then Al, like, suddenly appears, this veteran, and he's, like, right in frame behind Donald Trump. Like, no one else. It's just him and Al. Al looking very uncomfortable. And then Al's, like, talking to people behind him, and you're like, Al. Buddy. Yeah, just mostly everyone sucks. We're going to make it great. We're going to do things, and they're going to be important,
talked about
good
Bernie.
things. Yeah.
He tried to congratulate Bernie and people booed, and then
Yeah.
he said he wants to give the country away.
Yes, and we were laughing. We were like, well, Bernie wants to take it away from people like Donald Trump and give it to you. Boo that, I guess. Let Donald Trump and his ilk keep everything. I
Yeah.
don't understand these people.
And then people like my dad, who for some reason identify with people like Trump,
Yeah.
even though he's
Same.
never had nearly that much money,
Never will.
even in his dreams.
Yeah.
are going to say Sanders is going to come take all my wealth away.
What wealth again? You got billions. I mean, none of us do, right? 1%
I don't
have
know.
money.
My dad, even at 70, he's chasing that millionaire dream, that American dream that you have to be a millionaire or a
Yep. So is my older
CEO
brother.
or.
Afraid of somebody like Bernie because maybe one day he'll be a billionaire. Which maybe he will, and I hope that he is. But Josh, if you're listening and you are, you should part with some of that money for people like you now.
Yeah, and so if you do become a billionaire, you'll be taxed a little higher.
Yeah, but you'll still be a billionaire. Don't worry, we're not gonna take it all.
Yeah, we're not going to take every penny of it.
Yeah. So Bernie, yeah, his speech was phenomenal as always, long but really impassioned, and the crowd just went ape shit. I would like to point out, Bernie Sanders brought up reproductive rights. Specifically pointed them out during his speech. It was a one line, but for fuck's sake, somebody said it.
We've been kvetching about it nonstop. Because
Cannot stop bitching about it. It's
will bring it up. Debate moderators, it's poison. They don't
making
dare
me crazy.
Bring it up. They're bringing it up on the other side, but the Democrats know. And
only once now.
Hillary
twice.
in her speech didn't mention it.
Women's rights, equal pay. Those things are
and Bernie said very succinctly, a woman must have control of her own body, something like that.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry, Rick Santorum. Mike Huckabee has 143 votes.
Ooh, so that's 243 people who voted for nothing.
They voted for something. Just, well, more people than that voted for Carson, who's evidently still running.
Yeah. Fiorina did better than Carson.
Okay, so what are these asterisks for next to Rubio and Christie?
Not leading
the way America wants. We can't see because of the captions. We can't see.
We have captions on, so we can talk.
Well, it's like we know they're not leading. It's got to be more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it means like not leading in any of these counties.
Okay.
Yeah. So Marco neither. I mean, Chris Christie is not surprising, but Golden Boy Rubio did not carry any single county in New Hampshire, not one. Trump took most of them. And Bush took one, and Kasich took a couple.
Like 10 or so.
Yeah.
And then Bush took maybe like two. So, interesting. The speeches were all, like I said, pretty average. Other than Bernie's. Trump's was just dumb. And then Cruz's just...
We didn't see the Cruz speech,
yeah, I was reading the subtitles of it. It was just very... he said something like, these Washington liberals, once they get to South Carolina, might not find it to be very hospitable.
So was he insulting New Hampshire?
Yeah, yes, and also
trying to do
Washington
that liberals
thing
in New
again,
Hampshire,
where they're like, here in
New York
South
values.
Carolina, they don't like your New York values, that sort of thing. He really is trying to.
So he was trying to say, I lost up here because it's the Northeast and it's too close of proximity to all those Jews and fags.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly correct. He loves us. So yeah, he's doubling down on the country bumpkin.
Vote for me because I hate them New York sissies.
Yep. So it'll be interesting. What else?
Okay, so we got Nevada coming up in 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on a Friday?
February 20th, so
let me look. A Friday.
Let me just take a
Friday
look here.
I will not be in love if it's on Friday.
Aw. Democratic caucus and Republican primary, Nevada and South Carolina respectively, will be on... Saturday, February 20th.
Son of a...
I wish we did more elections on Saturdays so people don't have to work.
That's true.
Maybe we'll have higher turnout.
So I don't know if we'll be live streaming. I don't even know if anybody's watching or has watched.
Me either.
But we're talking.
I know you guys like our podcast. We just thought we'd try it out. Okay. What else? Anything?
Plenty.
Cruz, Bush, and Rubio... They're still not going to determine who has gotten.
No, but
third.
Rubio ain't catching third, that's for sure. I would think at this point. So let's talk about where these campaigns go now. Both Sanders on the Democratic side, both Sanders and Clinton are going to make very hard lobbying pushes for the African American votes.
Yes.
and the Hispanic vote because Nevada in the next couple
Yep.
days.
Yep.
Bernie said he's going to New York for 2 days, but he didn't say what he's doing.
Yeah, there was an
there.
interesting line in his speech. He said, I'm going to New York for the next 2 days, but I'm not going to New York for a Wall Street fundraiser.
What is he going for?
He didn't say, but then he said, I'm going to do my fundraiser right here, right now.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask all of you to go to berniesanders.com and pitch what you can. And then he's like, done. That's my fundraiser. And I thought that was cute. It was a good line.
Yeah, but okay, so he's going to New York for some reason. Hillary is
Oh,
going.
no. He's not going to win in New York against Hillary Clinton.
Oh no, she's leading big. But
Sorry, guys.
yeah,
I'm getting over a cold.
yeah, she's leading big in New York, but I don't know when the New York primary is.
It's so much later. That's what
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier. The fact that California and New York are both so late in the debate schedule, but they have the most delegates is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I know Nancy Pelosi tried to stop back in the 80s when she first was sort of involved, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to have Iowa and New Hampshire first to have that sort of influence.
No,
when
but they just,
hold a total of like 60 delegates.
they're
out of
just gonna make
hundreds.
sure that they are first because
That's the only way they have relevancy
yeah.
at all. Otherwise, no one would care. Sorry, people in Iowa and New Hampshire, but it's true, and you know it.
Yeah, and like, why should they get to determine the narrative for the rest of the month into Super Tuesday, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
Although they won't, because once if things shake up and are different, like let's say we go to Nevada, and Hillary Clinton wins, and then she's leading South Carolina, then everybody forgets about everything that happened. And that's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen. It's like
Well, if she wins in South Carolina and Nevada, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Then
the
Bernie's
feeling,
got a problem.
Then Bernie's got a problem. The feeling right now is that the Clinton campaign is imploding and unraveling. That's up to them whether it's unraveling. And the last couple days, you got the sense of the things they were saying, like the things Bill was saying and the things like some campaign operatives were leaking to the press. You're like, oh boy, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to jump into the death spiral. And I got the sense, and I hope this is true for their sake, I got the sense that Hillary kind of grabbed the reins and said, no, we're not going to go that direction because that is a death spiral.
Yeah.
That's the sense I got from the tone of her speech tonight, that's not what's going to happen. But we'll know in the next couple days. If they're on the circuit tomorrow yelling about Bernie being a socialist, then they're in trouble.
Yeah.
They got to be out there saying, this is why you need to vote for me, guys.
Remember what I've done. Remember my accomplishments,
Well, even more than that, I thought her speech tonight was just taking a lot of Bernie talking points.
Yeah.
She talked about the 1%. She talked
She's
about
been
renting
doing
Wall
that
Street.
for weeks.
She has, but it was much more like concise.
Yeah.
Like doing it the way he's been doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's part of it. You can't just parrot him alone.
No, and she doesn't
You
have
gotta
the
bring
passion
something
behind
more.
it that he does either.
No.
It's obvious when he talks about it that he knows exactly what he means and why he's saying it.
Right, and people who've been following Bernie for years are like, yeah, this has been his speech for decades.
Yeah. And
Like-
I think what Dana and I were talking about earlier was that, in the Northeast, it's going to be really interesting because Hillary Clinton is from New York, was a senator of New York.
She's not. Oh yeah, she's originally from New York, then went down south, then
Yeah.
came back. Yeah.
Arkansas, yeah, with Bill. So she's got some good East Coast support, but Bernie Sanders has been a senator in the Northeast for 25 years. So people down there, he doesn't have the image problem that he has at other places in the country. People know who he is. They know he's that weird independent socialist guy from Vermont who's always yelling.
Breaking news.
What?
You missed it.
What?
Chris Christie is heading back to New Jersey to reevaluate his campaign.
So Christie's done.
He's toast.
Okay. Christie's done.
He's going
Breaking
back to
news.
lawyer up and make sure that he can
Doesn't
handle
go to prison?
Bridgegate. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I think it'll be interesting on the Northeast, given that Bernie Sanders has name recognition. People know what he stands for. They know who he is. But they also know Clinton, and they've worked with her, and she was
Yeah.
a senator there, and she's got close ties to Washington. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the voters in the Northeast react and how they vote. What do you think?
I think they're going to vote the way that other people have been voting so far, and this is another big problem for Hillary Clinton. I think in the last couple of weeks, there's been this talk, and I've heard it in the media, and I've heard it from people like the Debbie Wasserman Schultz ilk, like Bernie Sanders is not even a Democrat. You gotta vote. You
Mm,
gotta be loyal to the party.
nobody
And
feels that way.
23-year-olds
Nobody
could
cares.
give a rat's ass.
No, I vote Democrat because I'm not going to vote Republican.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democratic Party is not liberal enough for me. It never has been. But it's
Now
certainly
they're
more
trying to be
liberal
that
than
way.
the Republican
Well,
Party.
well, now they're trying to rebrand themselves, or at least Hillary is on their behalf.
Yes, because of Bernie.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is a power shift. Much, this was happening in the Republican Party, and I think it took the Democratic Party by storm. They sat back and said, "Wow, that party is going through some radical changes right now. It's at least we're not. We have our standard bearer. She's way ahead in the polls. This is good for us." And then
Yeah.
another upstart anti-establishment guy comes in and has turned everything on its head. And all of a sudden, oh
Yeah.
no, 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 we're super progressive, guys. We can call ourselves liberal and we can call ourselves progressives and shit. We can call ourselves socialist. Like this is like brand new ground in the last few weeks, ripping away what's been going on the last 20 years. I mean, I'm old enough to
Yes.
remember the Bill Clinton campaign,
Yeah.
and there were glimpses of progressiveness here and there, and certainly way more than compared to the other side. But
He still did welfare reform. He still voted against gays.
and
He
ca-
still signed
and
into
campaigned
law.
on that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of progressives were just like, okay, he probably doesn't mean it, but
Yep.
at least it's not the other side, and
I
it's
feel that way
progressive-ish.
about this too. I feel like Bernie Sanders has said and gotten momentum and support for something that probably most Democrats have supported for most of their lives, but haven't been able to say out loud and feel like they could win.
Right.
So
And-
it's a
and-
good shift.
And this was even happening in 2014 in the
Mhm.
midterm elections, where
Yes.
they tried to find some middle ground that was long gone,
Yes.
and the Republicans had gone way to the right,
Yep.
and then progressive people or people of color or immigrants were just like,
Win-win.
there's nothing here for me. I'm staying home. And guess
Yes.
what? We get people like Joanne Winholtz in office.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I think it's a really important and good change, and I think it's one that should stick around. And I think if he can get that, Bernie can get that groundswell of support of people to come out and support him throughout the South and then throughout the
Well,
Midwest.
that's if. I mean,
Then-
we need. We always talk about our dads. If it is Bernie, and look, I'm not jumping the gun here. Hillary's still leading in the national polls, and she's still leading in places like Nevada and South Carolina.
Yeah.
You won't know until we wake up and look in the next few days and see where the polls are heading and see what the campaigns do. If this momentum is real enough to carry past New Hampshire, we knew Bernie was going to win big in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we knew. This is not a surprising thing. This is not a shocking,
Right.
he swept something that wasn't supposed to happen thing.
And
That's
the
not
sense
what this
is overall he's on the ascent while she's on the decline. But we don't know that for certain. But
Right.
if it is happening this way and it is going to be Bernie for taking over, that's where we're going to flip the script. And instead of saying, okay, you kids better get on board with the Hillary thing, it's like, Mom, you better get on board with the Bernie thing. Right? And
Yeah.
she will. Like, if we're talking literally my mom, she would. But like all the other moms out there who, the Pumas.
Are the young kids a dependable enough voting bloc so that we don't just get fucking slaughtered
They were in
November?
2008.
Yeah, but
we cleaned up. It was a huge wave election.
I remember.
And unfortunately, it was shitty timing with the economy collapsing, and that cascade was already in effect. By the time we got to 2010, it hadn't turned around enough, and that combined with the rise of the Tea Party did us in. And all those people that were energetic and excited and voted for Obama, they were all still in the shit of where the economy was going that had nothing to do with being Obama's fault.
Yeah.
And it
I
was
know.
just unfortunate timing. Now that we're in an upward trajectory overall, and yes, there's still tons of problems. Not like Donald Trump said that like the real unemployment rate is really 45%.
He did say that.
But that things
it's
are
not.
much better than they were, and the stock market isn't in free fall, and things aren't turning to total shit, and hopefully there's not going to be a huge housing bust tomorrow and whatever. I think that we can hopefully get a wave election and then build on that at the 2-year midterm. It was just unfortunate timing where we got that huge wave election in 2008, but the economy was already heading downward, and Obama, first day of office, couldn't, turn that right around.
Yeah.
It took years, and he did.
He did. He did.
He turned it around with the help of stimulus and a bunch of other
Just
stuff.
you people, young people, please. You have to vote in November. I don't really care if you vote in the primaries. I'd like it if you did, please, but
You got to vote down ballot. You got to vote
You
locally,
have to.
states,
you have
senators,
to. Please.
Congress.
Otherwise, it's Trump or it's Cruz or it's one
Oh,
of these
they'll
crazy
show up.
people.
They'll show up to vote for Bernie. They'll show up to vote for Bernie if he's the nominee.
Better.
But they need to stick around and vote down ballot.
Yeah. And then vote in 2 years.
Well, that's just it. I think they would be more likely to vote in 2 years if some progress is made, or, and this is where I criticize Obama a little bit. Obama was never forceful enough, and he still isn't, about all the obstruction he got to what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But he was very, very busy those first 2 years getting the ACA passed, and he
Mhm.
did, but it was so horribly divisive that all
Yeah.
the energy was on the other side.
Yeah, he lost all of his political capital getting that one bill passed.
And he
thank
knew,
God
and
got
he
it,
knew
but
that was going to happen.
yeah,
But it
that was his
important.
mandate.
And thanks to that, I have health insurance now, so thank you. Even though Trump just came up and told me what a horrible disaster it was and how
Yeah.
my life is miserable and I don't have any health insurance. Actually, I do, Trump.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
so,
wrong.
I don't know. I worry.
I think we were going to wrap it up. I think we've said all that is to be said about the New Hampshire primary. So, as
Yep.
far as the polls go, no real surprises. I think
Nope.
Bernie is going to win by more than I thought he was going to. I
Yeah.
thought this thing would tighten to 10 to 15%,
He's
and
at
it looks
over
like
20
he's
right
at
now.
over 20, and that's going to hold. So, that's a big, big win.
Yeah, it is.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it's
So
huge.
it's the ball's in Clinton's court right now. How does she handle this? You know, does she make all the same mistakes that she made in 2008, which her husband probably doesn't see as mistakes, think that they didn't go after Obama aggressively enough? You know, who's going to listen to who here? I think she's going to take the reins, and hopefully her smarter advisors are going to take the reins, and she is going to try to go with the more positive route, and that's the only way she can
I agree.
win.
Because if she goes negative and she somehow squeaks out a victory, she just lost all the young people. They're not going to vote for her unless she doesn't appear to be attacking their homeboy.
Yeah. I mean, the stakes have really been raised here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, this would have been simple if Hillary had won Iowa handily and had a good showing in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a nightmare for her.
Yep.
This is her worst nightmare. And
losing Iowa would
losing
have been worse.
Iowa would have been worse, but
Yeah.
in terms of tonight, right now, she might as well have. Because nobody even cares about that now. Because even the
But
media
when
is
she
now calling it a
blows
tie.
South Carolina away, then is anybody going to care about New Hampshire?
It depends on Nevada too.
Yeah, they're within just a couple days. So anyway, that's what we're looking at, and we will, do a couple podcasts probably this week.
We will.
About
It's just
politics of the
interesting.
day and the polls and stuff.
It's just interesting too that the media, after Iowa, and they forgot how weird Iowa was. They really started talking like, if Trump loses New Hampshire, and it could happen, and I'm thinking like,
No, it can't.
I don't think so.
Unless the
Like,
polls
he's way
were
ahead in the polls, and that's
really
a primary.
Mm-hmm.
Caucuses are weird. Caucuses are goofy.
Yep.
You need not just a ground game. You need really educated people that know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And and then that combined with Carson's weird thing and Cruz's dirty tricks, it's like, wasn't that huge a shock that those results didn't hold up in Iowa? But all the pundits, when Trump loses New Hampshire, it's all gonna unravel. It's like, I don't think he's gonna lose New Hampshire, guys. And now it's all Trump all the time.
Again.
Again.
Yep. Rubio, I mean, he's really got to do something in the next before.
I don't know.
Nevada.
See, I think he's in huge trouble.
Yeah, me too.
I think the surprise result in Iowa, combined with timing that speech perfectly and the desperate desire of the establishment and Fox News to try to find an alternative to Trump, was an artificial bubble.
Yep.
That,
and then his disastrous debate performance.
Yeah.
And then this. Yeah, he's in trouble.
He's in trouble. I mean, because it wasn't like there was this groundswell of support. He was hot for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
This
And we
is-
get... No.
there's
Our animals
there's
are
a
being really
developing
cute.
love story here. I'll have to show you between a cat and a dog.
There's Lily and there's Blixa.
Yeah, and they're almost holding hands. They keep creeping closer.
They're almost in love.
They're almost in love. They keep creeping closer together. Lily.
That's my cat and Trav's dog. And they are becoming fast friends. Aww.
Hi, Blix. Hi, Lily. Okay. Anyway. So that's gonna be about it. Sorry, sorry, Rach. It's an amateur operation here. It's gonna be about it for us. We're signing off now.
Yes.
This has been Irreverent Testimony, the live stream. Woo!
Yay.
As usual, stay active and stay tuned and stay involved in all this stuff. I'm Travis.
I'm Rachel.
Dana's in the other room, and that was Lily and Blixa on the couch there.
Bye.
Adios.